just the impact of losing 13 players to your roster, including some very significant players.
Yeah, well, you never like losing players for any reason, you know. So, but you know, in relating the things that happened to us last year, it's another form of adversity that we'll have to overcome, and our guys are doing a great job of that. They all know what's going on. They all have been aware of, that there could be some, you know, some penalties like this, and so our guys are prepared for it. They're working their rear ends off during camp, and they're getting ready.
How much does the staggered suspensions with Timon and Malik help, knowing that at least you're not going to be without both starting ends for a period?
Yeah, I mean, again, it was because we had multiple players at one position, and for the health and safety of the guys that are playing, we were able to stagger those guys. So I think it's good for a football team.
Who do you turn to defensive end now? Obviously, Alan Cater's probably one of the guys. Jake Lawler. What can you tell us about those guys who both step in for Fox and Carney when they're out?
Yeah, well, Alan's had reps, you know, and so you've got him. You've got the two young guys that we just signed also. Jake redshirted last year, so this will be his first year to get extensive reps. And then you've got the Lansing Toure, and you also have Chris Collins. That's right, Chris Collins. Those two guys are getting reps right now, preparing to play in those games.
Larry, when and how were the players notified of their suspensions?
Let's see, I told them. I mean, we brought them in, and I told them about the suspensions.
When was that?
Last week.
How important does it make Tyler Powell deciding to come back and play this fifth year?
Oh, it's big, but it's big one way or the other for us. I mean, to have a guy who's back in his fifth year, has been a guy that's played a lot of plays for us. He's been a good player for us. We're happy to have him back.
The players that are suspended, how have you seen them respond to this, especially in practice? I guess you've had 4 practices now. A couple of them where you were expected to be leaders too.
Yeah, and they are leaders, and they will continue to lead, and they're not going to let this you know, be their legacy. I mean, they're preparing to win football games, and they're doing a great job of leading this football team. And so the entire team has handled it extremely well.
So is this a matter of kids struggling financially, or just seeing an opportunity to sell shoes?
You know, I can't answer that. I mean, I think that it was probably more of an opportunity, you know, that they found out about, and we're going to take advantage of it, you know. But it's against the rules, and so we can't do it.
How do you manage reps during camp, knowing that some guys that you're going to need as the season goes along aren't going to be available for the first 4 games, and to prepare them, but also prepare the guys that are going to have to play?
Yeah, it's something as a coaching staff we've been working on, you know, for a while now, but we just didn't know exactly how it was all going to go down. So, you know, we're in our install periods right now, where we're installing all of our schemes, offensively, defensively, and on special teams, and everybody gets all that no matter what. So we don't really change anything rep-wise in the first, up to the first scrimmage. And then after that, then we will start taking and pulling back some reps on the guys that won't be in some of those games, and we'll be adding reps to the other guys.
Is Manny Nathan's backup at this point, or how do you know?
Yeah, we've got Manny, and we've got you know, Cade Ford, and we also have Jace Reuter. You know, thank you. We got all 3 of those guys that are working at that position right now.
How much does the new redshirt rule help you in this situation as well, if you have to play a freshman in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice to have, and it's good for those kids also. You know, that no matter what, we can play them for up to 4 games throughout the season, whether it's early in the year or late in the year, and they're going to benefit from those reps, and then they'll be better players down the road and still save their redshirt year.
Is Nathan Elliott your starter against Cal?
Nathan Elliott is my starter going into the Cal game as of this time, yes.
So do you handle?
What was that conversation like with Nathan Elliott once you let him know about the suspensions and that Chaz would be one of those suspended players and he was guaranteed to be that starter now? What was that conversation like?
There was really nothing to the conversation. It was more me meeting with the players that were suspended and talking to them and letting them know what their suspensions were. And then I addressed the entire team, and Nate was in there, and he was a part of that team, so I think he understood.
You said this was last week. Was that Thursday when the team reported that you had this conversation?
All right, we're in camp now, so every day runs together for me in camp, to be honest with you. So
was it the day the team reported to camp, or was it the following day?
I'm trying to we have not met on it.
It's giving you time to think.
Since the team
That was nice. I did that for you.
Yes, we have not met on since the team before, so we have not dealt with this during camp. Yes.
Are you gonna hand-
Before camp.
How do you deal with the reps for Chaz, knowing he's not gonna play? Will he get his?
Like right now, he's getting the same amount of reps for the first, up until the first scrimmage that he would have gotten no matter what the situation was. And so once, it's the same question that I answered over here for all these guys, not just Chaz, it's for all of them. So they're all getting their reps in the first 5 days of install that they normally would up to our first scrimmage. Then after that, we'll start adjusting the reps.
How does Antonio Williams change the dynamic in the backfield with
Yes,
Brown and
you
having-
got another guy that's very bright. He's gifted. He's got great quickness and balance. And I tell you, the great thing about Antonio has been his attitude. He's got a smile on his face, and even a bigger smile now that he knows that he can play this year. And so he will definitely be a factor for a football team this year.
Is it closer to having what you had with Logan and Hood, and closer to have the multiple
Well,
guys?
it's still too early to tell that. It really is. I mean, until we get those guys. We've had 1 day in pad, so it's too early to tell that.
We're having some sound system issues in the stadium. We're trying to get fixed.
Is there a level of disappointment that you sense from the players having seen their teammates go through this and not be there for them, almost letting the team down a bit?
Yeah, the guys that are suspended, they're very remorseful. They don't want to let their teammates down, and they feel like they did in this situation. So I mean, but nobody's pointing fingers on this football team. Those guys aren't blaming them or anything else. I mean, it's we're beyond that point now. It's already happened. It is what it is, and so they're all looking forward and moving forward. I mean, so I think they're handling it in the right way.
What was
Just a couple more.
what was your reaction when you found out, especially given what you went through last year with losing so many guys to injury, now to lose them for another reason?
Yeah, I mean, I was disappointed, I was disappointed, but again, I've been coaching for over 30 years. These are young men. They don't all make the best decisions every day of their life, and that's our job as coaches, is to teach them and to make sure that they understand that life's about choices, and the choices that you make in life, there are consequences to those choices. And the choices that you make don't just affect you, they affect other people, something greater than yourself. And as they mature and learn, they learn that, when they make a choice, they got to think about everybody else and not just themselves. And so it's a great teachable moment.
Aside of the 1-game suspension, how has Jonah Melton progressed over the last year, and how does he fit into the plans up front for you guys?
I mean, he's working hard. I mean, he's had a great offseason, had a really good spring, so, again, 1 day in pads, they all look good in shorts, and we'll know more here and probably after that first
Is he
scrimmage.
playing guard or tackle?
He's a guard.
Guard.
Yes, he's a guard.
4 days in, are there any freshmen, true freshmen that stand out that maybe we should know about?
Yeah, and Trey Morrison is a kid on defense. Bryson Richardson is another guy, that was here. Both, Matt Flint, the other linebacker that was here during the spring. I mean, all three of those guys have shown up early. The Toure kid at the end, Chris Collins, was another one. So there's a lot of guys doing some really good things. Javon Terry, the kid from Wake Forest. And then you go over on offense, and Antoine Green and De'Ami Brown have both made plays for us already in camp and did some things this summer that everybody was going wow about. Javonte Williams is another one that we were talking about from spring. William Barnes has done some really nice things in the offensive line.
Does he have a chance to start? William Barnes, obviously a 4-star kid, top 50 guy.
Everybody's got a chance to start, right?
How was
They're all competing.
How was Nathan done so far?
I would, 3 days,
Or has he looked since he came back?
I would say he's better than he was when he left at the end of the season.
Has his demeanor changed at all?
No. Nathan's a pretty solid kid. I mean, his attitude, the way his work ethic, all those things, he holds himself to a very high standard. And if he doesn't reach that standard on a daily basis, then he's disappointing himself. But he's doing a great job of holding himself to that standard and then raising the level of the guys around him.
Do you think it helps now that you have 3 weeks until the first game that he knows he's the guy, he takes off a little pressure and kind of can be himself out there? Does that factor that in at all to kind of how he's going to carry himself game one? Preparing for
I think Nathan has, first of all, he's played in games, he's started, he's come off the bench, he's done multiple things. So I think he's excited about the opportunity to get out there and play. I really do. And I think all these kids want to get the taste out of last year out of their mouth. They're anxious to get back out on the field and show what they can do.
All right, folks, thank you. We'll have the players out in the recruiting room.
Thank you.